Well, this is probably a question better suited for later, but I have a bad memory, so I'm going to ask it now. Um, you're talking about having a very narrow view of music as being younger. We're talking prior to moving to Nashville. I don't see that in your wife at all. Like her styles vocally are so diverse, so all over the place. And I'm going to compare you to a few vocalists later that just the first things I heard. But I'm curious if she brought a lot of that diversification into your music, having met her. Did that happen that way, or was that kind of forming before you met?
Um, it's a mixture because started branching out and listening to different music starting in high school.
Yeah.
Then when I came to Nashville, was introduced, like I said, to country music in a southern, like a really, the southern way of music is so different than the northern way of music.
Absolutely.
And it's almost hard to put your finger on. Like northern music feels, I'm totally going to just stereotype right now, but northern music, and I'm from the north, feels very kind of rigid and doesn't have the push and pull and the
Yep.
soul and the feeling to it. But you get down south, and man, people are like ripping their hearts out, and guitar solos a little bit out of tune, but that's the cool thing about it, and just stuff like that. I love it. Uh, where was I at? So Cassie's background, she was listening to all sorts of stuff growing up because her dad had exposed her to so many different musical genres. So yeah, I think us coming with our different backgrounds was a big deal of how we sound the way we do today. And you can
Yeah.
kind of hear a little bit of soul in some of the songs that we do, and a little bit of alternative rock. And so you're hearing all the different
I
genres from
love
our.
that. I love that so much. Yeah. So let's ask the question I know people are going to want me to ask, and that, I mean, how did you guys meet? You guys met in Nashville, right?
Yeah, we met in Nashville. We were talking about this yesterday. Somebody was here, and we were talking about how many years ago it was. Was it like 19 years
18 years ago, I asked you to be my girlfriend. So
today?
18, it was a little over 18 years ago, like
Yeah,
18 and a half
yeah.
years
So
ago.
almost 19 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Um, we met at a small startup church that was meeting in the cafeteria of a school in Antioch, which is just a
Mm-hmm.
suburb of Nashville. And it was crazy because there was only like maybe 15-ish people there, and Ben was playing up on the little stage inside the cafeteria. It was him and brother Leroy, and he was playing guitar, praise and worship music, and I was just visiting, and he just caught my attention, and I was like, I'll take him. So that was, yeah, I'll take him. And yeah, it was honestly, I'm showing our age for sure, but I ended up MySpacing him
Let's go.
to find out if he had a girlfriend, because I just needed to find out if I needed to get rid of her,
Mm,
but he didn't have a girlfriend. So
let's go. So how quick was he a top eight for you, huh?
Me and Tom were like this up there.
it
Neck and
didn't
neck,
take
baby,
long.
by the weekend. Oh
Thanks,
man,
Tom.
the younger kids are googling that right now. Top eight,
Yeah,
I
man.
guarantee
They're like,
it.
what?
What does
My
that
what?
even mean? Cassie, you talked about your dad passing away at a young age, and imagine his loss could be a pretty major catalyst for you, especially where he's kind of your rock when it comes to music. You've already said this in so many words. Was there kind of a motivation or more of a motivation after his passing for you to do something musical?
I will say so it was my stepdad, but he adopted me and my brother when he married my mama, and
Yeah,
so we took.
that's your dad. Yeah, that's your
Yeah,
dad.
that's my dad.
Yeah.
So he I was always a mama's girl, and me and my mama were really, really, really close. And she passed away 3 years ago, and so it was always me and my mom against the world.
Yeah.
And so I never really connected with him. He was very strict, and I never really bonded or connected with him till like towards the end of his life, when I started pursuing music, which I think is pretty cool that I got to have those moments with him.
Yeah.
And after he passed, it had been talked about several times that I might move to Nashville. And then something happened and I didn't. And so when he passed, I kind of was just like, why not? Like, just go. So I, just decided I was going to do it. And there was a fan in Decatur, Alabama that said, here's $1,000, go move and good luck. So I took $1,000 and I took my Mustang convertible and I rented a little place in Madison that was $250 a month. And I thought I had made it.
Yeah.
So I guess after him passing, it just kind of gave me the push to be like, what am I doing here? Like, it's funny because we have a song called Alabama Born, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But it's like I just couldn't wait to get out of there, And it's because I just wanted to be in Nashville doing music. So I think that maybe that did give me a push.
Sometimes, like you mentioned he was 43, like sometimes just seeing that and not understanding why
Mm-hmm.
so young,
Yeah.
just the life is short aspect to that can kind of kick your ass in gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. I'm 42. Am I
Yeah.
42?
Something like
I'm
that.
40.
Oh, don't ask him that question. That's not fair.
I think I'm 42. And to think about that he died just 1 year from now from what I
Yeah.
am, it's just mind blowing to me.
Mhm.
Because when I was 19, I didn't think about him being 43. But that's nuts because that's just a year older than I am now.
Right.
And so you're right. Life is short and you have to just, yeah, it was like a wake up call. Like, go and get it.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's making the best out of something that's not very good, right? And so, kudos to you on that, because a lot of people will just, they'll go into their clamshell and do the opposite of that, opposite of life, right? Ben, I wanted to talk a little bit about your education because I find this to be pretty interesting as well. You went to audio engineering school. You end up a full-time musician. This is perfect, right? Like you're essentially a songwriter, you're a musician, and now you can create both the songs and produce them and engineer them. This has been kind of a really good choice looking back, right?
Yeah, it sounds like a whole master plan is what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
it wasn't though, was it?
Well, it's like this. I knew I wanted to do music and be a performer in some way, even like right after high school. And my parents were just, as I said, my family didn't know anything about music or the music industry. And so they always said, you got to have a plan B. And so my plan B was like, okay, I remember going into the recording studio with a youth band in Pella, Iowa, and my first studio experience, and just the awe and the wonder of being in a studio and the inspiration of being in there. And I was like, man, I love this place. And so I wanted my plan B to be audio engineering. And I first actually moved up to Minneapolis to intern in a recording studio for a little while. And then I ended up moving to Nashville to officially go to audio production school. And yeah, now let's see, I think all three of our records I engineered.
Mm-hmm.
I mixed a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I love it because the kind of character that we want to have on our records, that the parts that we want to play, the mics, the sound of the mics that we want to use, we have full control over that, and it's just gives it that cool character. I think that you might not get with an outside producer doing it.
Well, it worked out. It worked out pretty damn well, I would say. Just being, listening to your music.